Okay, I have to be honest with you right off the bat.
Mm.
Usually when we sit down to do one of these deep dives, I have a pretty good handle on the thread connecting our sources.
Yeah, there's usually a clear theme.
There's a theme. We'll grab 3 articles on the history of caffeine or a stack of papers on the mechanics of jet propulsion. It makes sense. It clicks.
Right.
But today, I feel like you've handed me a menu from a Michelin star restaurant and a tire pressure gauge and told me they're the same object.
It certainly looks that way at first glance, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's a study in what appear to be absolute extremes.
Extremes doesn't even begin to cover it. Let me just set the table for everyone listening, because if I'm confused, they're definitely going to be confused.
Go for it.
In my left hand, I have a script for a cinematic nature documentary. It's called Bioluminescent Deception.
Okay.
It is dark, it is visceral, it is essentially a horror movie about deep-sea predators that use light to murder things in the pitch black.
It's heavy material, for sure. The biological descriptions alone are enough to keep you up at night.
Oh, absolutely. And then in my right hand, I have, and I'm not joking, a script for a project called Sleepy English Conversations.
Right.
Specifically, a segment called A Quiet Evening Walk. And this is, well, it's about ordering tea and looking at leaves and falling asleep. It's the linguistic equivalent of a warm blanket.
A perfect description.
So we have a biological horror story about imploding water and razor-sharp teeth, and we have a bedtime story about being polite to a shopkeeper in London. My first question to you, and I mean this with all due respect, is, have we lost our minds? Why are these two things on the same desk?
I promise you, we haven't lost our minds. In fact, I'd argue this is one of the most intellectually consistent pairings we've ever done.
That is a bold claim.
Because while these two sources seem like they are on different planets or different dimensions, really, they are actually exploring the exact same mechanism.
Okay, I'm struggling to see the bridge between razor teeth and chamomile tea.
The bridge is sensory manipulation.
Sensory manipulation. Okay, let's unpack that.
Think about the environment in both scripts. Both of these sources describe a world where the lights are effectively out.
Right. Darkness is the setting for both.
In the deep sea documentary, it's the abyssal zone, the midnight zone. In the sleep story, it's a quiet, foggy evening in the city. And in both cases, the author, whether that's evolutionary biology in the ocean or the instructional designer of the sleep story, is using specific sensory triggers to bypass the conscious mind and hotwire a specific instinct.
So you're saying they're both mind games?
Essentially, yes. They are both hacking the brain's operating system.
Wow.
One uses light and atmosphere to trigger a feeding reflex that leads to death. The other uses sound and atmosphere to trigger a relaxation reflex that leads to sleep and language acquisition.
So they're mirror images of each other.
They are opposite sides of the same biological coin.
That is actually kind of brilliant, and also slightly terrifying.
It is a little unsettling when you think about it.
So our mission today is to go from the absolute bottom of the ocean to a comfortable armchair in London and figure out how these narratives hack our brains.
Precisely. We are going to deconstruct the lure and the lullaby.
The lure and the lullaby. I like that. All right, I'm in. Let's start with the nightmare fuel, because I feel like we need to get the adrenaline out of the way before we try to sleep.
A good plan.
Let's look at source A, bioluminescent deception. Just reading the intro to this documentary script gave me chills. It sets the scene at 3,000 meters deep.
The abyss.
The abyss. The script describes it as the weight of mountains. It says the ocean compresses with the weight of mountains, and the darkness becomes absolute.
That phrase, the weight of mountains, isn't just poetic license, it's physically accurate.
Really?
Oh, yeah. At that depth, the pressure is it's around 8 tons per square inch.
I can't even visualize that. What does that even mean in real terms?
Okay, imagine you are lying on the ground and someone parks a Toyota Camry on your thumbnail.
On my thumbnail.
That is the pressure on every single inch of your body.
Okay, wow. That puts it in perspective. That is crushing.
Literally. But what's fascinating about the source text isn't just the physics, it's how it frames the psychological impact of that environment.
Right.
It says, in this world, sight is useless unless something creates its own light.
And that's the hook. That's the whole thing. We are visual creatures.
Fundamentally.
The source makes a big point of saying that for billions of years, light meant safety. Light meant the sun. Light meant warmth. If you can see, you can navigate.
Correct. We are diurnal animals. Our circadian rhythms, our entire evolutionary history is wired to trust the light.
It's just a basic rule of survival.
The source script opens with that very line. Your brain is wired to trust light. It's an ancient survival instinct. If you can see, you can avoid predators. If you can see, you can find food.
But then the script drops the hammer. It's such a great turn of phrase. It says, down here. Evolution rewrote that rule. Down here, light lies.
And that is the core thesis of this documentary.
That's chilling.
In the abyss, the relationship between truth and light is inverted.
Let's talk about the mechanism here, because I think people have heard of bioluminescence, but maybe not in detail. The source goes into the actual chemistry. It calls it nature's cold fire.
It's a beautiful description. Technically, it's chemiluminescence.
Okay, break that down for us, because when I think of light, I think of heat. Light bulbs get hot. Fire is hot.
Right, and that's incandescence, which is what a light bulb or a fire is. It's light produced by heat. But it's actually very inefficient.
Inefficient how?
You're wasting a lot of energy creating that heat just to get a little bit of glow. In the deep ocean, food is incredibly scarce. You cannot afford to waste calories making heat.
Ah, so it's all about energy conservation.
It has to be.
So how do they do it? How do they make this cold fire?
It's a chemical reaction. You have a molecule called luciferin, which comes from the Latin for light bringer, and an enzyme called luciferase.
Luciferin and luciferase.
Okay. When they mix in the presence of oxygen, they release energy in the form of photons, but almost zero heat.
So it's like cracking a glow stick.
That is the perfect analogy. It's exactly like cracking a glow stick. It's efficient, cold, and in the deep sea, it is the only thing that exists.
The source lists the uses of this light. Hiding, communicating, vanishing, all defensive almost.
Mostly, yeah.
But the one we are focusing on, the one the documentary circles around like a shark, is hunting.
The trap.
The anglerfish. The script calls it a biological fishing rod.
It's the perfect description, and we have to really look at the anatomy described here to understand the manipulation.
Okay, let's get into it.
You have a predator, the anglerfish, that is essentially invisible. It is pitch black, its skin is non-reflective.
It absorbs light.
It absorbs something like 99.9% of any light that hits it. And it is sitting in pitch black water.
So it's a black hole with teeth.
Effectively. But extending from its head is a modified dorsal spine, a filament. And at the tip of that filament is the esca, or the lure, filled with those living lantern cells.
These glowing cells.
They're bacteria, actually, that live inside the fish.
Bacteria? No way.
Yes, it's a symbiotic relationship. The fish provides a home, the bacteria provide the light.
That's wild. But the script emphasizes that it's not just a stationary light. It doesn't just sit there.
No, that's crucial.
It says it sways gently, convincingly. It is mimicking a helpless organism. It's mimicking plankton or small fish drifting in the current.
This is a concept in biology called regressive mimicry.
Aggressive mimicry.
You aren't just hiding. You are pretending to be something your prey wants. You're pretending to be a reward.
This is where we get into the psychology of the prey, and this is the line that just floored me. The source calls this weaponized hope. That is such a heavy phrase. Weaponized hope.
It's profound, isn't it? Think about it from the perspective of a small fish in that environment. The source says mistakes are fatal. You are starving. You are drifting in the dark. Food might come along once a month, if you're lucky.
So you're desperate.
You're beyond desperate. Suddenly, you see a tiny spark in the distance.
And your brain says dinner.
Exactly. The brain says, that is life, that is energy. The source describes the prey approaching out of curiosity and hunger. It says the prey approaches instinct overriding fear.
That's the manipulation.
That is the sensory hack. The predator is using the prey's own survival drive against it.
It's diabolical.
The prey trusts the light because, historically, light is good. The prey thinks, I need that to survive.
And then, the strike. The description in the script is so visceral. It says, mouth opens like a collapsing cave.
Water implodes inward. That's a key detail the script highlights. The anglerfish expands its jaw so fast in milliseconds that it creates a vacuum.
So it doesn't even have to bite you. It doesn't have to chase you down.
No, you are sucked in. The water rushes into the vacuum, dragging the prey with it. You aren't bitten, you are inhaled into the void. Yeah.
And then the kicker.
Yeah.
And just like that, the light goes out.
Brutal efficiency. The show's over.
The source material has this really interesting philosophical turn near the end. It zooms out. It stops talking about biology and starts talking about truth. It says, on land, light reveals truth. In the deep sea, light manufactures illusion.
It's a warning, really. The script suggests that in this specific environment, the darkness is actually the honest thing.
How so?
The darkness is just empty water. It's neutral. It's not trying to kill you. It's just empty. The light is the active threat. The light is the lie.
And the source ends with that whisper. Trust the dark. It's more honest than the light.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying because as humans, we are terrified of the dark. We are programmed to fear what we can't see.
We are. We fill the dark with monsters. But that's what makes this transition to our second source so jarring and yet so important.
What do you mean?
Because we are about to look at a script that asks us to do exactly what that monster just suggested. Trust the dark.
Right. Okay. So, let's shake off the deep sea pressure for a second. Everyone take a breath.
Decompress.
We are leaving the Mariana Trench. We are surfacing. And we are teleporting to a quiet street in London.
From terror to tranquility.
This is Source B. It's a project called Sleepy English Conversations, specifically Part 1, A Quiet Evening Walk.
And the goal here is completely different. In the first source, the goal was survival hunting. Here, the goal is subconscious acquisition rest.
Yeah, the hook of this project is fascinating. The whole concept is built around something they call midnight melodies. And the idea is that you stop trying to cram vocabulary with flashcards and high stress, and instead you just let a story wash over you.
It relies on a linguistic concept called the affective filter.
The affective filter. Sounds like a coffee brewing method.
It does, doesn't it? It's actually a theory proposed by the linguist Stephen Krashen. Think of it like a bouncer at a nightclub in your brain.
Okay, I like this analogy. I'm with you.
When you are stressed, anxious, or trying too hard, like when you're taking a test or afraid of looking stupid, the bouncer's huge. He's got his arms crossed, nothing gets in.
The velvet rope is up.
Exactly. You might hear the words, but they don't stick. The input is blocked.
So high stress equals a strict bouncer.
Exactly. But when you are relaxed, when your cortisol is down and you feel safe, the bouncer takes a break, he goes for a smoke, the door opens. The language can flow directly into the subconscious processing centers.
So this script, A Quiet Evening Walk, is essentially trying to bribe the bouncer with a warm cup of tea.
That is exactly what it is doing. It's designing an environment where the brain feels so safe that it accidentally learns English.
It's a gentle trap.
It's the opposite of the anglerfish. This is a trap for comfort, not consumption.
Okay, so let's look at how they construct this trap, and I use that word affectionately this time. This isn't a trap to eat you, it's a trap to make you sleep.
Right.
The script we have is about 10 minutes long in narration time. It opens with the setting.
And let's look at the specific language used right at the start. It's so deliberate.
Okay, I'm looking at the transcript. It starts with the soundscape. Soft footsteps.
Yeah.
Tap, tap.
Notice the pacing. The deep sea script used short, punchy, violent words. Strike, snap, fatal.
Yeah, very sharp.
This script uses ellipses, it uses long vowels, it uses repetition, it's rhythmic.
And the lighting. We have to talk about the lighting because we just came from the bioluminescent lure.
Yeah.
Here, the text implies golden lamplight.
Warmth.
Total warmth.
In the deep sea, the light was cold fire. Here, the light is golden. It signals safety, civilization, home. It triggers the opposite of the fight or flight response. It triggers the rest and digest response.
Okay, so the character and you, the listener's main character here, is walking along. And we get our first encounter, the man at the gate.
This is a crucial interaction for the language learning aspect.
It is, and I wanted to read this dialogue because on paper it looks incredibly boring.
Mm-hmm.
Man, good evening. You. Good evening, man. Lovely night, isn't it? You. Yes, very calm.
It is incredibly mundane, and that is the point.
But wait, if I'm trying to learn English, shouldn't I be learning something more complex? Or if I'm listening to a story, shouldn't there be a plot, something happening?
If there was a plot, you would stay awake. If the man said, "Hey, did you hear about the robbery down the street?" Your cortisol spikes. You wake up. The bouncer is back at the door.
Right.
By keeping the dialogue phatic.
Phatic. What does that mean?
Phatic communication. It's basically social grooming. It's small talk where the content doesn't matter, only the connection matters.
Like, how are you? Fine, thanks.
Exactly. It's a signal that says, we are friendly, there is no threat, it's just a social lubricant.
So by keeping it boring, the script is telling my brain, you are safe, no need to pay close attention.
Precisely. You are in a tribe that is friendly, you can relax.
There's a line the man says that I really liked. He says, I always enjoy this hour. The world finally slows down. Most rush straight through the evening.
He's giving the listener permission to stop rushing. In our modern lives, we treat the evening as just another thing to get through, another task. He's reframing it as a destination, as a reward.
And then he says, sleep well when you do. It's a primer. He's planting the suggestion of sleep before you've even gotten tired.
It's hypnotic suggestion, purely and simply. He isn't ordering you to sleep, he's assuming you will. Sleep well when you do.
That's subtle.
It creates a prophecy that your body wants to fulfill.
Okay, so we leave the man at the gate, we keep walking, and we come to the small shop.
Note the soundscape change here. Doorbell chime, warm light, shelves of tins.
I wanted to ask you about that word choice. The script specifies shelves of tins, not cans. Tins. That feels very specific.
It's a very specific British marker, isn't it?
It is. But why tins? What does that word do that cans doesn't?
Think about the association. Cans implies soda, aluminum, mass production, maybe even trash. Tins implies a pantry. It implies preservation. Biscuit tins, tea tins.
It feels cozier.
It feels sturdy and old-fashioned. It triggers a sense of nostalgia and safety, even if you aren't British.
That's true. A tin feels like something your grandmother has.
Exactly. It feels safe.
The shopkeeper is this motherly figure. She says, "You look peaceful this evening," and you order tea. But listen to the sound description in the source. It's not just she pours tea.
No, it's very detailed.
It's this gentle pouring sound.
Yeah.
Not too strong, nice and soothing.
It's auditory ASMR. The script is directing the listener to imagine the sound of liquid filling a cup. That sound is universally associated with comfort. And then the shopkeeper drops this nugget of wisdom. She says, "Tea is very patient. It fixes things slowly."
That is a beautiful line.
It is, isn't it?
Tea is patient.
It anthropomorphizes the tea. It turns the tea into a character, a helper. And again, it reinforces the theme. Slowness is good. Fixing things doesn't require a hammer. It requires time and warmth.
The script highlights the Britishness of the solution. In a bad day, have a cup of tea.
It's a cultural shorthand for everything will be all right. It's a ritual of comfort.
The linguistic repetition in this section is really heavy. I counted the word peaceful, soft, quiet, and gentle about a dozen times in just 2 pages.
That's the drilling technique. In a normal language class, you might drill verb conjugations. I am, you are, he is.
Right, the rote memorization.
Here, they are drilling the mood. They are associating the English language with the feeling of safety. They are trying to rewire the brain so that when you hear English, you feel calm, not stressed.
So we finish our tea, we leave the shop, and we go to the final location in this part of the story, the park bench.
We are moving deeper into the dark. We left the street, we left the shop, now we're in the park. The sounds change again, leaves rustle, bench creak.
More natural sounds.
And there's this eavesdropping element. You hear voice 1 and voice 2 somewhere in the distance.
Yeah, let me read this. Voice 1, peaceful tonight. Voice 2, very peaceful. Voice 1, nothing better than proper rest. Voice 2, absolutely nothing.
This is a clever narrative device. By hearing others whisper, it confirms that the environment is safe enough for secrets or for intimacy.
Oh, that's interesting. If the voices were shouting or even laughing loudly, you'd be alert. Whispering implies the absence of threat.
They are literally agreeing that sleep is the best thing in the world.
It's social proof. Everyone else is doing it. You should too. It makes the idea of rest feel communal and accepted.
And then we get the gentle voice nearby. This character feels different from the others.
This character breaks the fourth wall. Up until now, you've been interacting with people, the man, the shopkeeper. This voice feels more like a narrator, or maybe a guardian spirit of the park.
It speaks directly to you. It asks, comfortable, and then it gives you instructions. You can simply sit, breathe, and listen.
It's moving from conversation to guided meditation.
And then the line that I think connects us back to the deep sea in a weird way, the voice says, "Nights like this don't ask anything from you."
Yes, that is the crucial difference.
Nights like this don't ask anything from you. In the deep sea, the night demands your life. It demands constant vigilance. It demands that you identify the light or die. Here, the night is a release from demand. It asks for nothing.
The script ends with a fade out. Distant voice, good night. Another voice. Sleep peacefully. It drifts off.
It mirrors the stages of sleep onset. You go from social interaction to transactional comfort at the shop to passive observation in the park to pure drifting.
It's a perfect descent.
A controlled, gentle descent.
Okay, so we've walked through the abyss and we've walked through the park. Now I want to put these two side by side because when you look at them together, the contrast is startling.
It is, but I still maintain they're using the same tools just for opposite ends.
Let's start with the role of the dark. In source A, the deep sea, the expert commentary said, trust the dark, it's more honest than the light.
Right. In the abyss, the darkness is neutral. It's the void. It's not trying to kill you. It's just empty. The light is the active threat. The light is the lie.
But in source B, the sleepy English script, the dark is.
Yeah.
Well, the man says the world finally slows down.
Here, the dark is a filter. It filters out the noise, the rush, the stress of the day. It's a blanket, as the script calls it.
So it's not an absence, it's a presence.
Exactly. In one context, darkness is the absence of information, which is safe. In the other, darkness is the presence of comfort.
And what about the voices? The narrator of the Deep Sea documentary, he's described as calm, hypnotic.
But it's a dark wonder kind of calm. It's the voice of a scientist observing a massacre. It's detached, clinical.
Whereas the sleepy English voices are hushed, melodic, unhurried.
They are participating in the comfort. They are co-regulators. They are, in a way, lending you their nervous system to help you calm down.
That's a great way to put it. Let's talk about instinct. You mentioned earlier that both scripts are hacking instinct.
Yes. The deep-sea predator exploits the instinct to eat. It knows the prey is hungry. It knows the prey is curious. It uses that fundamental drive to lure the prey into the kill zone.
And the sleep story, what's the instinct there?
It exploits the instinct to connect and rest. We are social animals. When a friendly face says, "Good evening," in a soft tone, our parasympathetic nervous system engages. We feel safe in the herd. And once we feel safe, the biological drive to sleep can finally take over.
It's interesting that the sleep script assumes the brain is wired to mimic language when relaxed. That seems to be the core learning premise.
That's the subconscious acquisition theory. Babies learn language not by studying grammar books, but by listening to their parents murmur to them while they fall asleep. This script is trying to replicate that primal learning state.
A subconscious lullaby.
Exactly.
I want to look at the pacing because the writing styles are so different, and it's so clear when you put them together. Source A, the Predator script, uses these short, crunchy phrases. Closer, closer, strike, teeth snapshot.
It mimics the heart rate of the hunt. Stalking, violence, it's staccato. It's meant to put you on edge.
And source B, tap, tap, tap.
It uses ellipses, it uses pauses, it uses flow. You can simply sit, breathe, and listen. It's designed to slow the listener's heart rate down to a resting rhythm. It is literally pacing your breath for you.
It's amazing how text on a page can dictate your biological response. Just reading the Predator script made me tense up. Just reading the TC made me want to yawn.
That is the power of narrative environment design.
Which brings us to the, so what? Why does this matter to us sitting here, not being eaten by fish and not necessarily trying to learn English?
It matters because we are constantly designing our own environments, and we are constantly reacting to the environments others design for us, every single day.
Expand on that, because I feel like there's a lesson here about our phones.
There absolutely is. Think about the notification light on your phone, or the bright red badge on your app icon.
It catches your eye every time. You can't ignore it.
It's a bioluminescent lure. It's a light in the dark. It's designed to trigger curiosity. What is that? And anxiety. Is it important? It's a tiny blinking question mark.
So Instagram is the anglerfish.
In a way, yes. It uses weaponized hope. You click because you hope for connection or news or a dopamine hit. You approach the light.
And then you get sucked into the vacuum. 3 hours later, you look up and realize you've been doom scrolling.
Exactly. The water imploded and you lost 3 hours of your life. That environment is designed to be a trap.
Weaponized hope. Man, that phrase is going to stick with me.
Yeah.
We are all just little fish swimming toward the glowing screen.
Conversely, look at the sleepy English script. It designs an environment of safety. And what happens in that environment? Learning, restoration, peace.
The script says, stop trying so hard.
And that is a huge lesson for the learner profile we talk about. We often think learning requires intensity, focus, drills, pressure.
Right, we have to power through it.
But this source suggests that sometimes the best way to absorb information or to solve a problem is to stop trying, to let the conversation wash over you.
It validates a different kind of productivity. Resting productivity.
And it creates a safe space for failure. In the abyss, a mistake is fatal. In the quiet walk, mistakes don't exist. There is no wrong way to listen to that story. And when you remove the fear of mistakes, the brain opens up. The bouncer leaves his post.
That's a really powerful takeaway. If you want to learn or if you want to think clearly, you need to create a London park for your mind. not a Mariana Trench.
You need to dim the lights, metaphorically speaking. You need to create a space where nothing is demanded of you.
So we've traveled from the crushing pressure of the midnight abyss where light is a trap to a gentle London street where the night is a comfort. It's been quite a trip.
It really highlights the versatility of darkness, doesn't it? It can be the scariest place in the world or the safest. It just depends on who or what is in there with you.
And whether you are the hunter or the walker.
Indeed.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought to chew on. And I want to go back to that line from the documentary. Trust the dark, it's more honest than the light.
It's a provocative idea.
It is. Because in the sleep story, the dark was the only thing asking nothing of you. The day asks for things, the lights ask for things, the dark just lets you be.
So here is the question for everyone listening. In your own life, what are the bright lights you are chasing? Are they the noise, the rush, the shiny distractions? And are you sure they aren't traps?
Are they weaponized hope?
Maybe. And conversely, are you willing to step into the quiet, slow darkness, the boredom, the silence, the unplugging, to actually find what you need?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's safety or sleep or just a moment to actually learn something new about yourself.
Sometimes the honest thing is the quiet thing.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, on that note, I might go find a cup of tea. Not too strong.
Sounds perfect.
Thanks for diving deep with us today, even if the dive was a little terrifying at first.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time. Sleep well.
And trust the dark. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're gonna get physical.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean hitting the treadmill or loading up the squat rack or anything like that. Well, actually, in a weird way, we are.
Okay.
But we're talking about a very different set of muscles. We are talking about the gym for your mouth.
You know, it's such a fascinating angle, isn't it? We usually approach language learning or even just public speaking as this purely intellectual task, right? You memorize the vocabulary, you study grammar, you rehearse your lines in your head. But the research we've got today argues that we've kind of got it all backwards.
Yeah.
Speaking isn't just a mental act, it's a full-blown athletic performance.
That's the hook that really got me. The idea that you can be totally prepared mentally, you can know exactly what you want to say, but if your equipment, your mouth,
Yeah.
your tongue, lips, jaw, if they aren't conditioned, you're going to stumble. It's like a marathon runner who knows the route but hasn't actually run in 6 months.
Exactly. So to get us in shape, we have two wildly different guides today.
Wildly different is definitely putting it mildly.
On one side, we have what I'd call the Zen Master approach. It's a 15-minute morning yoga routine, but specifically for your face. It's gentle, it's progressive. It's all about awareness.
And then on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, we have a source that proposes something that, I mean, it honestly sounds like a culinary boot camp from hell.
Right.
It's a high-stakes challenge to teach you a posh, upper-class British accent, receive pronunciation, while you're cooking a beef Wellington.
Which, I have to say, having looked at the recipe, is a nightmare dish to cook, even if you're perfectly silent.
Oh, completely.
You've got puff pastries, searing beef, mushroom duxelles. Adding a linguistic drill on top of that seems almost cruel.
It seems masochistic, but apparently there's a method to the madness. So our mission today is to explore these two extremes. You know, how do we hack our brains and our bodies to master new sounds? Is it through the gentle, focused path, or is it through what one source calls culinary phonetics, mastery through stress?
It's the classic tortoise and the hare, but with a lot more butter.
Exactly. Okay, so let's start with the gentle path. The first source is from Accents Way English, and it outlines this comprehensive morning practice. And the philosophy here is surprisingly physiological.
It really is. It treats the tongue, lips, and jaw exactly like you would your hamstrings or your biceps before a big race.
And that makes so much sense when you break it down. Your articulators, they are muscles.
They are. And they're complex muscles. The tongue isn't just one piece of muscle. It's what's called a muscular hydrostat.
A muscular what now?
A muscular hydrostat. It means it's a group of muscles working together without a bone for support. Think of an octopus tentacle or an elephant's trunk.
An octopus tentacle in my mouth. That's a lovely image.
It's accurate, though. It means it requires immense coordination. So the source argues that if you want pronunciation success, you can't just think it. You have to build the muscle memory.
Right. You wouldn't sprint 100 meters without stretching, yet we wake up with morning voice, stiff, gravelly, and we just expect to articulate complex ideas immediately.
I'm so guilty of that.
Me too. I roll out of bed, pour coffee, jump on a Zoom call, and I wonder why I'm stumbling over my words. So, looking at this morning gym, where do we even start? The source puts a huge
Most of us hold a tremendous amount of tension in the masseter muscles. That's the hinge right there. When we're stressed, we clench. When we sleep, we grind. So this source instructs us to physically find that hinge and massage it. But here's the key detail. You don't just rub it, you do it while humming.
Why the humming? Is that just, to make it meditative, or is there a mechanical reason?
Oh, there's a mechanical reason. It's acoustic physics. Humming creates vibration, and you're trying to vibrate the mask of the sinus cavities in front of the mouth.
Yeah.
And that vibration with the massage helps release the tension, and it brings the resonance forward. Banishes that vocal fry, that gravelly sound, and moves the voice where it can project better.
Okay, so we've loosened the hinge, the gate is open. Now we move to the star of the show, the tongue. The source calls this tongue aerobics.
Which sounds a bit silly, but the drills are incredibly specific.
You have to be right. We're talking fine motor control.
Exactly. The first one is simple, but it gets tiring fast. You stick your tongue all the way out, and you move it right to left 10 times. But the trick is doing it with precision, without moving your jaw at all, just the tongue.
I tried this in the mirror this morning. It's so much harder than it looks to keep your jaw still.
It is.
And then there are the push-ups.
The push-ups are vital. So you stick the tongue out, and it's a strict up and down movement, up towards the nose and then down towards the chin.
Did you try it?
I did.
Did you feel the burn?
Immediately, right at the root of the tongue.
That's where I felt it, like deep under my chin.
That burn is the whole point. That's the root tongue tension being worked.
Yeah.
A lot of us speak with our tongues kind of lazy and flat in our mouths. So to get those clear vowels, or crisp consonants, especially in English, the back of the tongue has to be agile. That burn is tactile feedback. It's telling you you're engaging muscles that usually just coast on autopilot.
Speaking of tactile feedback, I have to bring up the toothbrush move. This was my favorite tip because it's so weird, but so effective. You're told to clean your teeth using nothing but your tongue.
It's brilliant.
Front of the teeth, back of the teeth, every single crevice.
It's an amazing exercise for dexterity and proprioception, knowing where your body part is without looking. I mean, think about the control it takes to trace the gum line of your back molars with just the tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
It wakes up all the nerve endings. Plus, the source note's a very practical side benefit. It exercises the tongue, and you make sure you don't have poppy seeds in your teeth before a big meeting.
A very functional approach to vocal training. A workout and dental hygiene in one.
2 for 1.
But then we get into something that felt a lot more like weightlifting. The source calls it resistance training.
This is isometric exercise for the mouth. You push the tip of your tongue hard against the inside of your cheek.
Okay.
And at the same time, you use your cheek muscle to push back. It's a power struggle inside your mouth.
It's surprisingly hard. My tongue actually started shaking a little bit after a few seconds.
That shaking is fatigue. It's just like your arms shaking during a plank.
Yeah.
By creating that resistance, you're isolating the muscle groups. So if you can control the tension in your cheek versus the tension in your tongue, you gain the independent control needed for difficult sounds.
You're building the hardware to handle new software.
That's a perfect way to put it.
So once we're warmed up, jaws are loose, tongues are swole, we move into the actual sound workout, and it starts with lip trills.
The classic brr sound. Singers do this all the time. It engages your breath and relaxes the muscle ring around the lips. The source suggests sliding up and down in pitch, like a siren.
Okay, then it moves to the M progression. Ma, meh, my, moo.
This is all about placement. The M sound forces the vibration to the lips. It's very frontal.
Right.
So by cycling through the vowels, ma, my, you're practicing keeping that forward resonance while changing the shape of your mouth. It stops you from swallowing the sound.
Then we go to the back of the mouth, which I think is an area people totally neglect. The source focuses on the K and G spots. Goo-ga.
Yeah, if M is the front door, K and G are the back hinges. Repeating goo-ga stretches the soft palate. And then, and this is the part I found most interesting, the source prescribes yawning.
Yawning is an exercise. I thought that was just me being bored.
It's one of the best vocal exercises you can do. When you yawn, feel what happens in the back of your throat.
It all opens up.
The soft palate, that squishy part on the roof of your mouth, lifts way up. The throat opens. If you want a resonant, clear voice that doesn't sound nasal or pinched, you need that space. Yawning trains your body to know what open feels like.
Okay, so we've done the weightlifting, the stretching. Now comes the cardio, the tongue twisters.
Or, as the source calls them, sprints. Because speed and precision are the goals here. But they aren't random phrases, they're targeted. For example, unique New York.
Unique New York. I always trip over that one. My mouth feels like it's trying to turn inside out.
That's because of the glides. You're moving from the U sound to the new sound.
Oh, yeah.
It requires the tongue to arch and flatten really fast.
Right.
It's a drill for flexibility.
And then there's good blood, bad blood.
Sounds like a Taylor Swift song gone wrong.
It does. Well, why that specific phrase?
It's a vowel drill. You're switching between the back open vowel in good and blood to the front vowel in bad. It forces the tongue to jump back and forth, front to back rapidly. It's like doing suicides on a basketball court, but for your tongue.
And then there's tragedy strategy, which is all about rhythm. But the source doesn't stop there. This is where I think the deep dive value really kicks in. It talks about chunking.
Yes. This is crucial for anyone wanting to sound natural, specifically in American English. If you say every single letter perfectly, you actually sound robotic.
Or foreign.
Right. Native speakers use reductions. We squish words together.
The source gives the example of, what do you becoming would I?
Exactly. Or going to becomes gonna. But the specific focus on could have becoming coulda is a great technical example.
How so?
The source notes that the D in coulda isn't a hard D, it's a flat. It sounds like a Spanish R, coulda. If you can master that little flick of the tongue, that lazy efficiency, you instantly sound more fluent.
It's ironic, isn't it? To sound better, you have to be a little bit lazy.
Controlled laziness. That's the secret.
Then that's the morning routine. It's calm, it's progressive, it's about building awareness and muscle. Let's throw all that zen out there.
Indeed. Let's enter the kitchen.
We are shifting to the high-stakes Beef Wellington Challenge. This source is wild. It claims you can learn a posh British accent, not in a classroom, but by cooking one of the most difficult dishes on the planet.
The contrast here is just stark.
Yeah.
The morning routine was about building muscle. This method is based on dual tasking and cognitive overload.
Explain that to me. Why would making my brain busy help me learn an accent? I mean, if I'm worried about burning a steak, wouldn't I just revert to my normal voice?
That's the risk, and that's exactly the point. The neuroscience behind it is fascinating. The idea is that when your brain is under pressure, like when you're trying not to slice your finger off, it abandons its conscious efforts and it seeks efficiency.
Right, the default setting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this method argues that mastery is precision under pressure. If you can maintain the target accent while your brain is screaming about hot oil and puff pastry, you've moved that accent from a conscious effort to an unconscious one. You were literally overriding your panic response.
Wow. Okay, so let's walk through the drills. It starts with the onion.
Stage 1, precision slicing. You're dicing an onion in a Brinoise style. That's a very, very fine dice.
Okay, intense focus.
Right. And while you do this, you have to practice long versus short vowels. The words are calm, cart, pass.
Calm, cart, pass. Very posh.
And notice that long A. It's not pass like football, it's pass. And the source connects the fine motor control of the knife to the speech centers in the brain. It claims the cerebellum, which controls fine movement, activates to enhance speech timing. The mantra is, the steadier the blade, the steadier the voice.
That is intense. The steadier the blade, the steadier the voice. It's like something a Jedi would say.
It gets more cinematic. Stage 2 is the searing test. You're putting the beef tenderloin into hot oil. It's sizzling, it's popping, timing is everything.
And what are we shouting at the beef?
You are drilling crisp consonants and aspirated T's. The phrase is terrifically tender temperature.
Terrifically tender temperature. Try saying that while avoiding third-degree burns.
That's the challenge. In elite kitchens, you control the heat. In elite British speech, you control the consonants. You have to aspirate the T's so a little puff of air comes out. Terrifically tender. The source explicitly says softness is failure here.
You have to attack them.
You do. But then we get to the part that stresses me out the most just thinking about it. The mushrooms.
The duck cells reduction.
If you've ever made this, you know you have to cook all the moisture out of chopped mushrooms. It requires continuous rhythmic stirring. You can't stop.
And the rule is you have to narrate your actions continuously.
Yes, in full RP, no pauses, no filler words like or You have to say things like, I am delicately reducing these mushrooms.
With disciplined precision.
Exactly. This targets flow and breath control. The idea is that stress usually makes us hold our breath or use filler words. This drill forces you to keep the speech rhythm flowing. You are rewiring that default panic setting.
It's like brainwashing yourself with mushrooms.
Which brings us to the final exam, the assembly.
Wrapping the pastry. Delicate work, you can't tear the dough.
If you tear it, the whole thing is ruined.
Right. The source calls for deliberate dexterity. The phrase is, the extraordinarily delicate pastry requires deliberate dexterity.
That is a mouthful. Extraordinarily delicate pastry. That's a lot of syllables to juggle. It's all about the prosody, the music of the sentence, and then finally the oven test, the final judgment. While the dish bakes, the learner has to speak without any hesitation.
And what are the stakes?
High. The source claims that if your accent breaks, if you slip back into a lazy consonant, you have to start again.
Start the sentence again. Or the whole dinner.
Whether that's symbolic or it means literally throwing the beef Wellington in the trash is up for interpretation.
I am not throwing a $50 tenderloin in the trash because I dropped my teas. That's just financially irresponsible.
Maybe not. But the mental pressure of that threat is what matters. It creates a consequence for poor speech.
So it's essentially saying, if you can't say it right, you don't get to eat, which is a powerful motivator.
It is. It taps into primal reward systems.
So, okay, we have these two wildly different methods. The morning gym, relax, massage, tongue push-ups, and the culinary challenge. Stress, knives, searing heat. Which one is actually better?
Well, they serve two different phases of learning, I think. The first one, the yoga approach, is about building capacity. It's bottom up. You're training the individual muscles to physically make the sounds.
Right. You can't aspirate your teas over a hot stove if your tongue doesn't know how to hit the roof of your mouth correctly.
Precisely. You need the gym first. But the second method, the beef Wellington approach, is about application. It's about automaticity. It's top down. It argues that you don't truly know a skill until you can perform it when things are going wrong.
It's the difference between hitting a tennis ball against a wall and playing a match point at Wimbledon.
Exactly. So ideally, you do the tongue push-ups in the morning to build the instrument.
And then sear the steak at night to test the player. They agree on one thing, though. Repetition and physical awareness are key. The lesson is the same. Language is physical. You have to train the body, not just the mind.
I love that. It takes the pressure off the idea that you're just bad at languages.
Great. I hear that all the time. I just don't have an ear for it.
Maybe it's not your ear. Maybe it's your tongue. Maybe you just haven't done enough reps. Maybe your mouth just needs a gym membership.
Or a sous chef.
Or a sous chef.
So what does this all mean for you, listening? If you're prepping for a presentation, maybe don't just read your notes, check your teeth with your tongue, do some lip trills in the car.
And if you're trying to learn a new language, try integrating it into physical tasks. It doesn't have to be beef Wellington. It could be folding laundry. Maybe try conjugating Spanish verbs while you're chopping onions. Use the distraction to test your fluency.
Just be careful with the knife, please. We are not liable for any kitchen accidents.
Always be careful with the knife.
But here's a final provocative thought to leave you with. That beef Wellington source suggests our true accent, or our true ability, only really appears when our mind is busy, when we're under pressure.
It's a compelling idea. We all have a mask we wear when we're calm and in control.
If that's true, what other skills, or even personality traits, are we only faking until we're put under extreme pressure? Are you really a calm person, or are you only calm when you aren't searing a steak?
It's the squeezed orange theory. When you get squeezed, what comes out? Is it juice or bitterness? Is it a perfect British accent, or is it a string of curses in your native tongue?
That is deep. I'm going to be thinking about that while I make dinner tonight.
Narrate it in a British accent, see what happens.
I just might. I am delicately microwaving this leftover burrito. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it.
Keep practicing. You'll get there.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Go do a tongue push-up, watch your consonants, and we'll catch you next time. Okay, I have a number for you. And I want you to really just sit with it for a second, because when I saw this in our research packet for today's deep dive, I actually stopped reading.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
I had to put the paper down. It made me physically wince. Are you ready?
I am. It is a heavy one. Go for it.
1 year. The average person spends 1 full year of their life just looking for lost items.
Staggering, isn't it? But you frame it like that.
Whole
Yeah.
year. It is horrifying. I mean, think about what that actually is. We are not talking about a year spent, learning an instrument or on vacation.
Or sleeping even. something useful.
Literally anything restorative. No, this is a cumulative year of that frantic, heart-pounding panic.
But pocket padding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patting your pockets for keys, rummaging through that drawer of tangled cables for the one charger that actually works.
So that drawer, everyone has that drawer.
Everyone does. Or digging through piles of paper for that one tax warrant you swear you put right on the counter.
And it's always when you're already running late.
Always. And looking for clothes, the clothes you know you bought, but they have just completely vanished into, I don't know, the abyss of the closet.
It's so true. And, it's not just the quantity of time that's lost, is it? It's the quality of that time.
Oh, it's the worst quality.
No one is happy while they're searching for their car keys.
Yeah.
It's a period of time that is it's defined by panic, by frustration.
Sweating.
You're sweating. You're probably yelling at your spouse or your kids. It is the lowest quality, highest stress time imaginable.
It is the absolute worst kind of time. And that right there, that leads us directly into what we're trying to unpack today. Because on one hand, you have this massive inefficiency, this mess that literally eats an entire year of our lives.
Right.
And for most people, the solution, cleaning, decluttering, organizing, it feels like a punishment. It's a chore. It's something you avoid until you absolutely can't anymore.
That is the standard human reaction, yes. Avoidance, dread, procrastination.
But, and this is the part that gets really, really interesting, there is this other group of people. And the source material we're looking at today, it just highlights this paradox so perfectly.
I know exactly what you mean.
For some people, decluttering doesn't feel like work at all. It feels, well, the word they use is addictive.
That's the word that keeps coming back again and again in the research. Addictive.
They don't do it because they have to, like when guests are coming over.
Yeah.
They do it because it gives them a rush. They feel relief. They actually feel joy.
Right.
So the mission for this deep dive is to figure out why. What is happening inside the brain of someone who actually loves to organize? Because we are not here to give you cleaning tips.
No, absolutely not. We're not going to be talking about, which direction to fold your socks or what kind of clear plastic bins to buy from what store.
Not at all. We are investigating the psychological mechanism. We want to know why some people run toward this discomfort and find, of all things, freedom in it. We're looking at the neuroscience of the messy room versus the clean room. Why does one feel like a cage and the other feel like a sanctuary?
And this is such a valuable conversation to have, I think, because it reframes the entire concept of mess.
How so?
Well, we tend to think of clutter as a physical problem. I have too much stuff in this room, I need to go rent a dumpster.
Right, it's a volume problem.
Exactly. But the research we're looking at, it suggests that clutter is actually a psychological phenomenon. It's about what all that stuff is doing to your head, not just to your floorboards.
Okay, so let's dive right into that. The mental cost of clutter. Because the source material uses this phrase that I loved it, mental weight.
Mental weight, yes. It's a perfect descriptor, isn't it?
It really is. Explain that to me. How does a pile of magazines on my coffee table have weight? I'm not, carrying them around in a backpack all day.
Okay, well, think about it like this. How do you feel when you walk into a room that is just absolutely covered in stuff? I mean, laundry on the chair, papers on the desk, toys on the floor, maybe some dishes in the sink.
Oh.
Does your energy go up or does it drop?
Oh, it tanks immediately. It's like the air just gets sucked out of the room. I feel tired just looking at it.
Right. And your brain, your inner voice, usually says something like, I'll deal with that later.
100%. Not now.
That reaction, that feeling of, that is the sensation of mental weight. The experts we're looking at describe clutter not just as objects, but as unfinished decisions.
Unfinished decisions.
Wow.
Okay, let's unpack that a little because that feels profound.
Think about it. Every single object that is sitting out in a pile is demanding something from you. It's an active request for your attention.
So it's not passive.
Not at all. That bill on the counter, it's basically screaming, pay me, deal with me.
Yeah.
That shirt on the chair, it's saying, fold me, or wash me, or put me away. The broken toaster you haven't thrown out yet, it's asking a question. Are you going to fix me, or are you going to finally buy a new one?
So it's not just a toaster, it's a pending task. It's a to-do list item that's made of plastic and metal sitting on my counter.
Precisely. It represents a cognitive load. And even if you aren't consciously thinking about it, a part of your brain is tracking it. It sees it as an open loop.
An open loop?
Yeah, it's like having, say, 50 tabs open on your internet browser.
Okay, I feel that.
You might only be looking at one tab at a time, but what happens to the computer it slows down, right? The fan starts whirring, the battery drains a whole lot fast.
Right, yeah.
That is your brain on clutter.
That makes so much sense. That explains that feeling of fatigue. You haven't actually done anything yet. You've just walked into the room, but you're already tired?
Because your brain is processing 50 background apps. It's processing a massive amount of visual data, and it's assigning all these little to-do tags to everything it sees. And this brings us right to the neuroscience of overstimulation.
Okay.
Our brains are incredible processing machines, but they do have limits. And when there's too much visual noise, too many signals, too many colors, too many shapes all at once, we experience what's called mental fatigue.
It's sensory overload. It's like trying to listen to a single conversation in the middle of a crowded nightclub.
It is. Perfect analogy. And there's a chemical component happening here, too. The source material talks about the cortisol connection.
Yeah, this part was fascinating to me. Living in clutter isn't just, annoying or ugly. It's actively keeping us in a state of low-grade stress.
We are marinating in our own stress hormones.
Ugh, that's not a pleasant image.
It's not, but it's accurate. Cortisol is our body's primary stress hormone. And high levels of visual clutter have been linked in studies to sustained elevated levels of cortisol. One major study we reviewed found this was particularly pronounced in women.
So a messy home can basically keep your body in a subtle but constant state of fight or flight?
That's exactly right.
Which is just wild, because your home is supposed to be your sanctuary, right?
It's supposed to be your safe space.
It's the one place where you're supposed to power down, where you can take the armor off from the day. But if it's messy, your biology is actually treating your home like a potential threat.
Exactly. If you think about it from an evolutionary perspective, in the wild, chaos often signals danger.
Oh, interesting.
It means predators could be hiding in the brush, or the environment is unstable. Order, on the other hand, means safety. It means visibility. You can see what's coming.
Okay.
So when your immediate environment is chaotic, your brain struggles to ever fully relax. It can't power down completely. And that's why you hear people use that very specific phrase when they finally clean a room. They say, I can finally breathe.
Yes, I have said that exact thing. Oh my gosh, I can breathe in here now. I always thought it was just a figure of speech, I thought I was just being dramatic.
It's not drama at all. It's a very real physiological response.
Really?
You are literally dropping that mental weight we talked about. The perceived threat level in your environment has gone down. The 50 browser tabs have finally been closed.
So my system can actually relax.
Your system can actually downregulate. Your heart rate might even slow down a bit. Your shoulders might drop. It's a physical release.
So, okay, if we're looking at our first major psychological motivation for why people get, addicted to decluttering, it's basically a drug-free way to lower your own cortisol.
In a way, yes. It is a relief mechanism.
Yeah.
You are actively altering your neurochemistry by altering your physical environment.
And the formula the source gives is so clear.
So simple.
Fewer objects plus fewer decisions plus fewer distractions equals a relaxed brain.
That's the equation.
I love that. It's so simple. And it explains why, for those decluttering enthusiasts, the act of throwing things away or donating them feels so good. They aren't losing the item. They are gaining the relaxation that comes from its absence.
That's a crucial distinction.
Oh.
It's not about the object itself. They are chasing the feeling of the lighter mind. They're not necessarily trying to be minimalists for the sake of, a magazine aesthetic.
Right, it's not for Instagram.
It's not for Instagram. They are doing it because it feels good physically and mentally.
Okay, so that's a biological stress component.
Yes.
Huge.
Yeah.
But there is another layer here that I think is maybe even more relevant to the world we live in right now. And that is the concept of control.
This is a huge one. This might be the most significant psychological driver for people in the modern era.
We live in a world that is, well, let's just be honest, it's chaotic.
Put it very, very mildly.
We have economic uncertainty, we have workplace stress, constant political noise, relationship dramas. I mean, most of the big things in our lives feel completely out of our hands.
Completely. We can't control the stock market. We can't control what our boss thinks of us on any given day.
Right.
We certainly can't control the news cycle. We are constantly navigating these massive variables that we cannot influence. And that, over time, creates a pervasive sense of anxiety.
It does.
We feel like passengers in a car that's going way too fast, and we're not in the driver's seat.
So, enter the messy drawer.
Enter the messy drawer,
Uh-huh.
or the cluttered bookshelf, or the disorganized closet. The psychological motivation here is what the sources call the search for safety. Through control.
Okay.
When you stand in front of that bookshelf or kitchen cabinets or your closet in that small domain, you are the god of that universe.
I love that image, the god of the cutlery drawer.
But it's true, isn't it? In that small square footage, you possess absolute authority. You decide what stays. You decide what goes. You decide where the spoons live and where the forks live.
Right.
In a life where you might feel totally helpless, organizing a single small space is a concrete, tangible way to assert your own agency.
You're saying I may not be able to control the global economy, but I can control this linen closet.
And this linen closet is going to be perfect. And that act, it creates a sense of emotional safety.
It's a coping mechanism.
It is, and it's a healthy one, generally speaking.
Yeah.
It anchors you. It gives you a win for the day. You can look at the result, the neatly folded towels, the alphabetized spice rack, and you can say, I did that. I created order out of chaos. That is an incredibly empowering feeling for the human brain. It restores what psychologists call your internal locus of control, the belief that you can impact your environment.
It's almost like if the outside world feels like it's spinning too fast, organizing your home is a way to grab the steering wheel, even if you're just steering a very small car inside your house.
Precisely. It grounds you.
Yeah.
It connects you to the physical world and proves that your actions have a direct, visible, positive result.
Which is something we don't always get at work or in life.
Very rarely.
Okay, so we have stress reduction and we have control. Now I want to talk about the third big psychological motivation, because this one feels like a workout for your brain. The source calls it mental strength training.
This connects directly back to what we said earlier about clutter being unfinished decisions.
Right, so the act of decluttering, of actually going through a box of old stuff from the attic, is basically just making one decision after another after another.
Yes, and specifically, it forces you to confront the past in a very real way. Every item you own represents a past decision. You decided to buy it, or you accepted it as a gift, or you chose to save it for some reason. When you declutter, you have to reevaluate that past decision through the lens of your present life. You have to ask the core question, do I still need this?
And doing that over and over again, that's the training.
It is absolutely training for decisiveness.
Yeah.
So many of us struggle with making decisions in our daily lives because we are afraid of making the wrong one. We're afraid of regret.
The what if.
The what if. What if I throw this away and then I need it in 3 years? So what do? We keep the item. We defer the decision. We put it back in the box.
Just in case. The three most dangerous words in home organization.
They really are. But the person who loves decluttering is practicing the art of the definitive no.
All right.
They are practicing closure. They're looking at an object. They're evaluating its utility or its meaning for their life right now, not in some hypothetical future, and they're making a final call.
So they're building the muscle of trusting their own judgment.
Exactly. It's like reps at the gym. The more you do it with small things like an old t-shirt, the easier it becomes to do it with bigger things in your life.
And there's a joy in that completion, right? That sense of finality.
The joy of completion, yes.
Yeah.
It's the sensation of having no loose ends. When you finally get rid of that broken gadget you've been meaning to fix for 3 years, you aren't just clearing a shelf.
We're closing a mental loop.
You're resolving a pending task that was draining a tiny bit of your energy every time you saw it.
It's the shift from I'll deal with this later to it is done.
And that done feeling provides a little hit of dopamine to the brain. It's the satisfaction of crossing something off a list.
It's a reward.
It's a reward. And for people who declutter regularly, they're getting that reward over and over again, item by item. It creates this powerful momentum of accomplishment.
It's really interesting because it frames decluttering not as an act of losing things, which is how most people see it,
Right, it's deprivation.
but as an act of gaining resolution.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Gaining resolution. You are resolving the tension between yourself and your environment.
So, okay, we've covered the internal psychological shifts, but we can't ignore the practical side of this because the source material brings up some really tangible, real-world benefits that reinforce this behavior.
They absolutely do.
And we have to circle back to that statistic from the beginning, the 1-year statistic.
The lost year. It's still shocking.
If we spend a year of our lives looking for things, then the simple logic dictates that decluttering is literally a way to buy your life back.
It is reclaiming time, and it's just simple math, really. If everything has a home, a designated specific place where it lives, you stop searching.
The frantic morning search for the keys is just gone.
Gone. You stop shuffling piles to find the thing at the bottom. You stop reorganizing the same mess over and over again. just to make space for a new mess?
And you stop rebuying things. I can't tell you how many times I have bought a roll of tape or batteries or a specific screwdriver because I couldn't find the ones I knew I had somewhere in the house.
We've all done it. And that is efficiency. And while it might only save you 10 minutes a day, that adds up. That's over an hour a week.
Which is, what, 50 to 60 hours a year?
That's a full work week and a half of pure free time you just unlocked by knowing where your stuff is.
That is powerful. It's not just about being neat for neatness sake. It's about efficiency. It's about not fighting with your own life every single day.
Beyond just time, there's the concept of energy flow and friction. This is a concept that comes up a lot in behavioral psychology, especially when you're talking about building good habits.
Friction. That's a great concept. Talk to us about what that means.
Friction is basically the amount of effort required to start a task. So if you want to paint, for example, but your paints are buried in a box in the back of a closet under a huge pile of coats, that's high friction.
You're probably not going to paint.
You're probably not going to paint. The barrier to entry is just too high.
Right. It feels too hard to just get started. By the time I would dig all the paints out, I'm already annoyed and tired, and the creative spark is gone.
But what if your desk is clear and your paints are sitting in a jar right there, ready to go?
Low friction.
Very low friction. You sit down, you paint. A messy space creates high friction for almost every productive activity, except maybe lying on the couch and watching TV.
So productive people, the ones who seem to get so much done, they obsess over their environment because they are consciously trying to lower the friction for the good behaviors they want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your space shapes your behavior. If you want to work out more, don't bury your dumbbells in the garage. Put them where you can see them.
If you want to eat healthier, don't hide the apples behind the cereal boxes.
You got it. Decluttering clears the path for the life you say you want to actually live.
It's like the environment is constantly nudging you. A clean kitchen counter nudges you to cook a healthy meal. A messy counter covered in mail nudges you to just order takeout.
That's it in a nutshell. And then there's the simple, undeniable aesthetic satisfaction. We shouldn't discount the fact that as humans, we are generally wired to appreciate beauty and symmetry.
Clean lines, open space.
Visual balance. For some of the real enthusiasts, decluttering is an art form. They're literally sculpting their space.
And there's a deep satisfaction in looking at a room that just looks, I don't know, resolved.
That's a great word for it. It feels resolved, and it becomes a mirror.
A mirror? What do you mean?
The external space starts to reflect the desired internal state. If the room is clear, bright, and organized, it reinforces the feeling that you are clear, bright, and organized. It acts as a powerful feedback loop.
I love that. As without, so within.
Present.
Okay, this brings us to what I think is the deepest layer of this whole thing. We've done the stress, the control, the time, the efficiency. But the source material goes into something that I think is where it gets really emotional. And that is identity.
Yes. This is where the tears happen. This is why you see people crying on those home organization shows on TV.
Yeah. Why is it so emotional to throw away a pair of jeans that haven't fit in 5 years?
Right.
Or a guitar you haven't played in a decade? Or that bread maker you used exactly once back in 2015? It's just cotton and wood and plastic. Why does it hurt so much?
Because you aren't throwing away the object. You are throwing away a version of yourself.
Oof. Okay, say more about that. That feels heavy.
We keep items as placeholders. They're placeholders for who we want to be or who we used to be. Psychologists often call this the fantasy self.
The fantasy self.
The version of you that fits into those skinny jeans is a version of you that you're still holding on to. The version of you that plays that guitar is a cool musician identity that you don't want to let go of, even if you never play it.
And the bread maker represents a wholesome domestic god or goddess version of me.
Exactly. So when I look at that dusty guitar in the corner, I'm not just seeing an instrument, I'm seeing my failure to become a musician.
Or, perhaps more gently, you're seeing a past chapter that is closed, but you haven't fully admitted to yourself that it's closed yet.
This is why the source calls decluttering identity work. It forces you to confront the gap between who you were, who you wish you were, and who you actually are today, in this moment.
And that can be really painful. It's a form of grieving, isn't it?
It is a form of grief, but it's also necessary for growth. Because those objects, while you're keeping them, are often functioning as guilt triggers.
Guilt triggers.
Every single time you open the closet and see that hobby gear you never use, you feel a tiny microdose of guilt.
I should really use that.
I wasted money on that. I'm lazy for not doing that.
I'm not the person I thought I was going to be.
Exactly. It's like a silent Billy living in your closet.
Ugh.
And so getting rid of it is an act of profound self-forgiveness.
Wow.
It's you saying, I am not that person anymore, and that is okay. It's letting go of an unrealistic expectation you placed on yourself.
So the people who love decluttering, they aren't just emptying their house for the sake of it. They are actively curating their life to match their present-day reality.
Yes. They're choosing what the sources call intentional living. And the mantra that one expert gave, which I love, is, my space should support who I am now, not who I used to be.
That is such a liberating thought. Imagine if every single thing in your house was there specifically to support the person you are today.
Right now.
Not the college student you were 20 years ago, not the maybe someday person you hope to be, but the actual you.
It creates this tremendous sense of alignment and peace. You stop fighting with your past in your own living room. You aren't surrounded by monuments to your failed hobbies or past selves. You're surrounded by tools for your current life.
And this leads right into the idea of mindfulness. The source calls it mindfulness in motion.
It's a great phrase because we usually think of mindfulness as, sitting still on a cushion with your eyes closed, trying to clear your mind.
Which, let's be honest, is really, really hard for a lot of people.
It can be extremely hard. The mind wants to be busy. But decluttering is a very active, engaged form of mindfulness.
How so? What does that look like?
Well, just think about the process. You have to pick up an object, you touch it, you look at it, you have to ask a series of questions. What is this? Do I need it? Does it add value to my life right now? Does it bring me joy?
You have to be fully present with that one object to make the decision.
You can't do it on autopilot. If you do it on autopilot, you're just shuffling things from one pile to another. That's not decluttering. Real decluttering requires a heightened state of awareness. It's tactile. It's immediate. And for many people, that intense focus is very grounding. It quiets all the other noise of the world because in this moment, the only problem you have to solve is this sweater. Stay or go.
It's interesting. It's almost like a form of meditation for people who need to do something with their hands, who can't just sit still.
It absolutely is. It pulls you out of your head, out of the anxieties about the future or regrets about the past, and it plants you firmly in the physical moment.
So after all this, we've arrived at what the source calls the aha moment, the climax of this whole investigation. When we put all these pieces together, the biology of stress, the psychology of control, the emotional weight of identity, what is the true purpose of decluttering? What are people really doing?
The true purpose is that people who love this aren't cleaning their homes, they're cleaning their minds.
Boom. That's it, right there.
That is the core truth of this whole thing. The people who are addicted to organizing, they aren't obsessed with hygiene or sterility or having a perfect-looking house.
No.
They are addicted to the feeling of self-awareness, of emotional release, and of intentional decision-making that the process gives them.
So it's not about the stuff.
It's never about the stuff. The stuff is just the symptom. Dealing with the stuff is the therapy.
And that explains the word freedom in the title of our deep dive. Why decluttering feels like freedom.
Yes, because freedom isn't just about having less. It's about making space.
Okay.
When you remove the physical clutter, you are metaphorically and literally making space in your life. You're making space for clarity. You're making space for peace. You're making space for growth.
You're clearing out all the dead wood so that new things have room to grow.
Exactly. And that feeling, that lightness, that sense of possibility, that is what's addictive. Once you've felt it, you want to maintain it. You realize that you don't serve your things are supposed to serve you.
And when they stop serving you,
They go, that is freedom.
man, that puts a whole new spin on cleaning out the garage. It really changes it from a dreaded chore to almost a spiritual practice.
It elevates the whole concept, doesn't it? It validates the feeling that so many people have, but maybe they couldn't quite articulate why it felt so good.
So let's wrap this up. Let's summarize what we've learned today, because this went way deeper than just, throw away your old receipts.
We started with that shocking statistic, the full year of lost time. But we realized pretty quickly that the cost of clutter is much higher than just time. It's our mental health.
We learned that clutter is mental weight. It's a physical manifestation of unfinished decisions that keeps our stress hormone, cortisol, high.
And that the act of decluttering is a direct way to lower that stress. It gives us a tangible sense of control in a chaotic world, and it literally trains our brains to
We talked about the very real practical benefits, getting your time back, lowering the friction to do the things you actually want to do, and the simple human joy of a beautiful, balanced space.
And finally, we got to the deep work. How letting go of physical items is actually about letting go of old identities and the guilt that comes with them, which allows us to live more intentionally in the present moment.
So, at the end of the day, it's not a chore, it's a form of self-care.
It really, truly is.
So here's the question we want to leave all of you with today, and it's a provocative one. I want you to just look around the room you're in right now, or if you're driving, just think about your home.
And ask yourself, do you love decluttering, or do you avoid it at all costs? And maybe more importantly, what is your current space doing to your mind?
Is it lifting you up with energy and possibility, or is it weighing you down with all those unfinished decisions?
Is it a sanctuary where you can recharge, or is it another source of low-grade stress in your life?
Just think about it, and hey, maybe this whole conversation is the sign you needed to finally tackle that one junk drawer, not because you should, but because you deserve that dopamine hit of completion.
Go get that clarity.
Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you team clutter or team minimalist? We would genuinely love to know where you fall on the spectrum. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into productivity and the psychology of our everyday lives, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
There is always more to learn and unpack.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye for now.